I'm cool. This one don't need no introduction. This the queen. This B. It's Beyonce in the building. Renaissance. Y'all know what it is. Like it or get kicked off Twitter.
And for that reason, 5 out of 5. Next.
No cap. Yo, so
I'm
off
mad at
mic,
myself.
you're mad at it. Tell me about this.
Why did I feel the pressure to prepare for this particular review more than any other review? We covered so many reviews. These are the most notes I've taken on any album review.
Yeah, hilarious that dudes are more scared of Beyonce fans than I swear Bezo fans. Like, dang, you are less safe if you don't like the artist for show in a Beyonce concert than you are listening to ESTG or any of those boys that we've been reviewing lately. But this is a nice change of pace. You told me off mic that you were struggling to find a place to hear this, to put this on, right? Tell me about that struggle. How'd that go for you? And then when you got it together, how did it sound to you?
Hey yo, I damn near almost caught an aneurysm trying to figure out where's the right place to be able to play this show, to play this music. I'm walking to the gym. I'm about to lift heavy weights. I was like, do I? No, that's not the right time for that. That's not the right time. But then, getting into other engagements on my way to a function. I was like, do I? No, that's not the way. Hanging with the homies, going to a hip hop show. I go, do I? That's not the way. That's not the right time. Which is interesting. It did dawn on me when Beyonce music is most played around me and when I enjoy it most. You know that particular moment before you go out in the night and you give your girl the aux. You maybe you give your girl the aux. And she's putting on her makeup and she's getting ready and she dances in the mirror and she's getting all together. This that makeup music is what I like to call it.
I feel you. I'm with you.
Usually Chris Brown is on that playlist. 100%. There's gonna be some Chris Brown playing.
Controversial.
Women love Chris Brown, bro. I don't know what to tell you. There's gonna be her that's playing.
Her for
Thames
sure.
might be playing.
Big Thames. Big Burner Boy.
Burna Boy. Beyonce fits right into that. So interestingly, that's the context under which I envisioned myself. You're not paying attention. You might be on your phone or you might be playing video games. You just waiting for baby girl to get ready, getting dressed, and you just let that music play. You don't hate it, and you don't hate it at all. But that's if it's a bop. Oh, it's Beyonce. Oh, baby, it's Beyonce. Oh, it's Beyonce's a bop. Like that. I'm a single dude.
Is that how you've always felt about Beyonce's music? Because Beyonce's had several very different stages. Like there was the 90s R&B Beyonce, then there was the early 2000s hip hop Beyonce, then there was the real songstress oh nah we sing Beyonce, and then you kind of got the social justice Beyonce, right? And so I just you felt that way about all the variations.
That's a great question, bro. Not really, actually. Not really. And I'm not sure particularly why this. Maybe it's because the lead song sounded so dancey to me. It sounded like that Drake album, which I still haven't really gotten around to listen to. I flipped through it and I was like, I need the right context for this. And so the lead song was very much under that same tone. And knowing that Drake was a co-writer on that too, and it had that dancey feel, the alignments of it, the Everything Is Love. Funny enough, the Jay-Z Beyonce album, I dug that, but Jay-Z's on there. I'm interested to think, bro, what context did you enjoy this music under?
Well, I ain't gonna cap. I listened to it primarily. I went to it as quickly as I went to it for the show, and so I'm listening to it while I'm doing some research and while I'm studying, just to get a feel for it and what it sounds like. Which in some sometimes there's albums that I'm really looking forward to. I'll wait to make sure I'm in the car, or wait till I'm outside on a good speaker, doing something like that. This one I just kind of let run in the headphones. And in some ways that might be a reflection of my expectations, not expecting to love it, not expecting it to be super for me. And I think with that lens, it was, pretty enjoyable. I also got to say that as somebody who is very like a Chicago. Like I belong to Chicago. House music will always have a place in my heart. So the house infusion in this album, along with the world music infusion, along with kind of the disco vibe that she brought to it, I'm more and more finding myself in spaces where that type of music that I might not really flip on for myself is feels really good to me in that space, right? And and increasingly as cool with that as I would be with hip hop or R&B. So what I got to do yesterday was no plug or whatever, but the Chicago Race Riots bike tour was fire. It was an amazing convening of people to come out and commemorate, understand this historical event in Chicago, and then chill. We brought the Harold's food truck through. We brought some vegan wraps through. We had resources and tents and hot chips and cheese, and it was a great time with the community. And in that space, Beyonce, with that, the DJ was spinning some of the new album, and in that space, it hit. Right? You had a
I just
question.
didn't want to jump over that real quick, Miles. What was your involvement in the Chicago race riot protest? I just don't want to skip over that quick.
Uh, I was part of the planning committee. I'm the director of operations for the Chicago Race Riots of 1919 Commemoration Project. We're trying to get public art installed related to remind people that this instance of violence is deeply related to the roots of segregation that we have in the city of Chicago. And so every year we do a bike tour where we get like about 250, 300 people all together on bikes, biking to places that are related to the race riots, but also related to pillars of resilience and resistance and defiance in the Black community, like the Chicago Defender. So, which is a newspaper that's really dope. So yeah, that's what we were doing. And in that space, right, where we were all coming together, shout out to our producer. Yes, sir. The Chicago Race Riots. It's actually fire where he pulled up right now. You can go on SoundCloud, look up 1919 Race Riots. There's a audio collection where you can listen to the tour stop by stop. If you're in Chicago, you can do the ride by yourself and listen to the audio spoken by some of the folks from the Race Riot Commemoration Project. So that's fire. Shout out to our producer. But yeah, I say all that to say that in that space where people were coming together, community, neighbors, basically a huge cookout afterwards, right after we did the tour. The Beyonce album was hitting for sure. So I ain't mad at it. I ain't mad at it. I ain't gonna run to it like I would listen more to Lemonade. I ain't gonna run to it like I would listen more to B Day or some of the older joints that like when they came out, I was like, man, I was all in. But this one, like you said, bro, I will hear this places out. I will hear this at the department store. I'm gonna hear this at the club, and increasingly, I ain't mad at it. I didn't know you didn't like dancey music. That's new to me. That's news.
No, what I said. I do like dance music. I'm big on the I'm a piano scene. I'm cool on it. I do think that it is a situational thing. Definitely when it comes to Beyonce, the Beyonce that I enjoy a lot is the Beyonce that's deeply drenched in R&B. That type of Beyonce is my favorite sound. That's why Lemonade for me is something that I consistently run back to. Daddy's Girl, I think is super cool. Funny, interestingly enough, speaking to a lot of the women in my life that varying in ages, it seems that the younger the girl, the more they feel like how young guys feel about Jay-Z, in the sense that like, yeah, it's contemporary and it's forward pushing, and it establishes this person as a legend, but it's old folk music, which I thought was very, very interesting that it was seen that way. Um, it did sound to me that it encaptured a contemporary sound with songs like cozy, songs like church girl, which the content of it was very in line with what female hip hop content is right now. The thick, also, very sexually driven, female empowerment driven, sexual liberation music, twerk music, all that type of talk, which is dope. There's no, that's hip hop, right? So I'll give it to that. So there was a lot of that sound going in. The sounds that I did enjoy most of it was things like Cuff It. I thought Cuff It was cool. I thought Energy had a cool feature to it. Um, it this particular form of dance music might not necessarily be my favorite, so to speak. My favorite Beyonce type of music is not this type of Beyonce, so to speak. I'm I hear that this is a three-part series, and I'm sure that there's layers and layers of intricacies when it comes to the writing, and how Beyonce's writing process is also quite elaborate too. So, I'm interested to see where this goes to. It does sound like music that I'd enjoy most listening to, watching a woman that I enjoy.
There you go. I appreciate that. That's a very measured and balanced take on the album. Can we get into the tea? Did you hear any of the tea?
Nah, bro. What
There's
deep?
there's there's mad tea, bro. There's mad tea.
Hmm.
So apparently, you know who Kellis is, right? The R&B singer.
Yes.
Yeah, yeah. Apparently, she was writing for the album and get her credit properly. You know what I'm saying? Her chef went off on Twitter. You know, it'd be like that. That's how we get information these days. Chefs serving it up, both still. So yeah, I I don't know. Did that didn't reach your radar?
I ain't gonna hold you, man. I don't want to. I didn't really go that deep into it that way. But what if you do know Beyonce's writing camp process is actually super interesting. And it leans on very similar to Kanye's writing camp actually, where she collects groups of the best writers, the best sounds, a very elaborate list of writers, and they come up with concepts, and they come up with she'll lead the direction on the concept, and then they'll build the imagery around it, and then she'll take and piece things together, and it comes that way. So there is a reality where you know it might have been overlooked. There is that reality, and I still understand from an artist perspective why that would be offensive. um give credit where credit is due. But Miles, you're deep in women's tea and things of that nature. How did you feel about that?
I just feel like make sure all the artists get paid, man. I don't know if that's women's tea as much as it's business tea. I think artists get really, really big and they have these really great visions, and I'm here for the small creators too, so make sure they don't get lost in the sauce. We can love things that are big and beautiful and spectacle, but also appreciate, yeah, for sure. Like you got to make sure that everybody who contributes get paid. So if there's an issue there, whatever. But I kind of found that out in the context of exploring the themes of the album and kind of what the internet was pulling from it. When you say that she builds a concept around a theme and stuff like that, what theme did you pull from this joint?
It does seem that this is very commercially driven, is what I'll give it.
Mm.
It doesn't seem to me that it has a massive step forward or a very profound artistic intention behind it. I think it shows more so how well she can craft music that is popular. It also doesn't seem to have the time stopping effect that Beyonce albums usually have. I don't care what you would. When Lemonade came out, bro, let me tell you something. If you were cheating on your girl, bro, that was a tough week for you. If you were doing dirt, I think I might have lost the love over Lemonade. I think I might have lost the girlfriend over Lemonade. I ain't
They
even hold
do.
you.
Well, we can't cry over spilled lemonade. But I think when I look at this album, the theme that I got from it, especially looking at some of those production credits, was that she was really trying to big up and lift up artists that have been big on the LGBTQ scene, specifically in terms of disco, specifically in terms of like music that's played at drag shows, right? There's definitely an influence from the people that she featured to the people that she sampled to the people that she included on the album, that is paying homage, right, to that disco scene, to that scene that doesn't get a lot of light, in that queer scene. So I think that's actually pretty fire, and I appreciate her looking to folks that. I mean, and I take your point, right? Because when you say commercial, that kind of resonates with me too, right? We ain't gonna act like every store in the world, well, not every store in the world, every store in the world in the United States threw up a gay flag in their window for the whole entire month of June, and then switched that mug out real smooth to Fourth of July decorations, right? Like we saw that happen. So I ain't gonna say that it's her coming out of the box and picking a group that nobody else is championing, but I will say that when Beyonce does it with intention, and even when the album's not aimed at me, I tend to hear that people feel seen, and that is really important to me in music. So if the drag scene feels seen, if the queer scene feels seen, then I think that that's a win for show for this album. And yeah, I mean, to me, with my social justice self, that does up the ante and the enjoyment and listening to it, which is probably doubled down on the fact that I did listen to it at a community event for the first time, where people were really like seeing other people enjoy it and dance. Not all of it, of course, but like just pieces of it. But like, yeah, so it was one another one that I'll put up in terms of that. Yeah, Beyonce is fire for sure. She's an icon. She's a legend. And this is more music that I'll hear when I hear it and remember that she the queen. I'm gonna give this a personal 3.5 out of 5, just in terms of me being honest and how much I'll return to it solo. But I ain't mad at nobody that's 5 and 4 in it at all.
Yeah, no, she feeds her core audience with the alien superstar that's strutting music, and you talking to somebody that loves RuPaul. You know what I'm saying? You talking to somebody that really is that admires the drag scene. There's nothing. Listen, dude, I don't care what competition on TV you're talking about. There is nothing more impressive than what's happening on that RuPaul show, bro. It is mind blowing just how talented that is. And so when you hear how that music resonates in there, that's for its core audience. That is a big part of her core audience. So I think Beyonce dropped one for her fans. This would be the equivalent of an underground mixtape for 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 her core audience, And I think, like you said, for the people that is for, they're gonna dig it. Break My Soul does that for that. I enjoyed Energy, like I said. Virgo Groove, shout out Virgo Gang, was also cool. I like the type of talk that she's on Basquiat, on I'm That Girl, talking about Basquiat, talking about being American icons, talking about that new money, black money talk, that black billionaire talk, man. I'm all about that type of energy. So personally, like Miles said, 3.5 out of 5. You know how we wrap this show up. Our producer gives us what he thinks his score is. Let's see what our guy is feeling on this one. 3 out of 5 out of
5.
5. There
We'll
you
take
have
it.
it. There you
We'll
have it. I
take
don't
it.
know how our core audience is gonna feel about Beyonce's album review being longer than the Lupe Fiasco review, but we'll see how the numbers come out.
Hey man, I don't think there's any doubt whether we love Lupe. We was just making space and time for y'all to go listen to the album instead of listening to us. You know what I'm saying? But we appreciate y'all listening to us because we know